Now we are at chapter 12, and you're still here. Thank you very much for the patience in listening to me. I believe it will really stir you and keep on stirring you. We come now to a chapter that's on face value very boring and not very exciting, but actually in the heart of it, it is an immensely important thing. One of the things that we can do in life that we can change the risk factor in life. We cannot change the fact that there is risk, because risk came after not even after the fall of man, but with the fall of man. And even before that, there was the opportunity that man could live in the wrong thing, fallen into the wrong thing, that things can go wrong. Things can go over your way, you know, as soos ons Afrikaans sê, daar kom 'n stok in die speek. En dinge loop nie soos jy dit beplan het. Things doesn't go according to your planning. Life is really fragile. I always tell my children, remember, life is fragile. It can break. You can break. Your car can break. Your systems can break. Your house can break. Everything on earth can break. And somehow when we look at the risk factor, we want to sort of feel even depressed, you know, when we look at everything that can break, you know, because nothing is for sure on this earth, in a certain sense. Things are really not in a fixed mode or in a sealed mode, you know. This thing is now fine and it can never break again, it can never get any damage again or whatever. No, it is not like that. We're supposed to be like that. And Adam and Eve had to obey God, and then the world would be in a sort of a sealed mode of no evil could ever enter the world, but they decided to disobey the Lord, and the world became a place with open doors, and the enemy comes through the open doors and try to destroy your life and try to bring lots of troubles into our lives. Some of them we're looking for it. Some people raise the risk level in their lives. They get into cars, they drive at speed that's not good, they jump from mountains and whatever, you know. Sometimes they make sure that it is safe, and sometimes it's not safe, you know. Sometimes you expose yourself to danger that's not good. You make the risk factor in your life higher. I mean, the fact that you are maybe a truck driver on the road, you know, expose yourself to more possibilities of accidents. It's not that you must stop being a truck driver, but I mean, that's a logical conclusion. That the more you are in a certain scenario, the more you are exposed to things in that scenario. That's of course so, in every scenario. So maybe to start out in this thing, and not to make you depressed, you know, I just want to basically sketch you the world view in terms of this thing. That the risk thing means there can come a situation of danger where we can lose something, where some stuff can be stolen from your life, where your progress can be stolen, your car can be stolen, your health can be stolen, your time, in a sense you get into an accident and then you lose some time that you now need for healing, you know. It brings enormous setbacks in certain ways in time. Most people experience risk very negative. They handle it very negative. They don't see the possibility of something good that can come out of it. They start to blame and they be negative about it. Now, I'm not saying that what happens in risk is good, you know. It's good that they steal your car. It's good. No, it's not good. But somehow it still happens. And you can't change it because it now happened, and you're either going to sit on the thing in the past, and you're going to stay in the past, and you're going to lose the blueprint that's in your own heart and no longer living it, or you're going to deal with the past. You must deal with that past. You must, that what we say, there must be a bounce back capacity in looking at the past, sometimes not finding answers to that past. I've got things in my past that I don't have answers to. You know, I can say, okay, it's like this, maybe this, whatever, you know, but you know, there's not answers to everything in life. And it is not because, you know, we can go into it, you know, that because life is an organic thing that's happening, you know. You know, but the if didn't happen, you know. For me to look back, I say if, you know, but it didn't happen. The if is not there because the if isn't there. You know, if, you know, people are so busy with the if, you know, if I hadn't, you know, if I just made this, if I just whatever. Listen, then, in the now you can use the word if, but in the past it was not there because you hadn't decided to do it. It's gone, it's over, it happened. Get away from the if, you know, deal with the thing. If you had to confess or maybe forgive or whatever, just deal with it and put the past in the past and put the past in such a place that it starts to produce something for you. I remember that story, that's a very important story there in Joshua, where they said they had to clean the land and kill all the people. Then one of the tribes heard about it, and then they sent people with those clothes that was deteriorated, you know, and say coming from far, you know, and their pockets are empty, you know. They think it was the Gideonites, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then they said, please help us, and then they helped them and they took them into Israel. Then they found out they were just staying, you know, across the mountain, supposed to be the people, one of the people they had to kill, you know, because of all the ancestors, not ancestors, the gods and the whatever, you know. And then they said the following thing. They said, if I can't remember, they said, how does it say in there? It's
they had to become the water carriers.
That's right. They make them the water carriers and the wood carriers of the altar. It sounds like, you know, they've given them the, you know, the degraded job, you know, to cut the wood and bring the water and whatever. But in a spiritual sense, they made them the people. They made this situation that was wrong before the Lord. But they have made a fault in, they had a contribution in it, but they can't change it now. So they make the situation a situation where this situation will flame their dedication and their sacrifice to the Lord. Because in those years, you know, to sacrifice to God and be, you know, to be exact in it, you know, and everything is a very sure sign of your commitment and dedication to the Lord. So whatever happened in your past, right or wrong, who's ever responsible or whatever, you must make it a person a thing that flames the fire and the devotion of the Lord. You know, every time you think of it, it must bring to you connection to say, Lord, I'm just more devoted to you. I'm just more committed to this cause that you've given me and whatever. So there must be nothing in your past that's like a dragging thing. The moment you think of it, you know, it's like you go into a depression about it. Yes, according to the facts, you can maybe fall into a depression because the past can be very, very bad. But if you've dealt with the past proactively and you've done with the past according to what you need to do, you can make the past something that motivates you into the future, that reminds you of the goodness, that makes you thankful for what you have. I mean, why is it that most people find sometimes their creative purpose in something that have happened bad in their lives? You know, like a guy, what is that guy without feet and arms, you know. Now he's become a speaker, you know, to show that you can live the life without hands and feet, you know. I mean, it makes you feel, I mean, you would thought, no man, there's no way that a guy like that can live that life. Someone is maybe raped and this person become one of the biggest advocates in solving this problem among women and helping them and whatever. I mean, I've often seen that maybe some of the biggest crises in life that wasn't planned, that was brought maybe to you, it wasn't maybe even your decision, but if you handle it correctly, it can become not only something that flames your devotion to life and to your Creator, it can become your creative purpose. And it can become the thing that gives you passion in life. But you had to deal with it. Because to sit there and say, why did it happen? Why? You do not get answers to all of these things. You need to deal with it and say to it, but there's a purpose in everything. Nothing that happens, even though it's evil, can steal what was given to me, can steal the blueprint, can steal my capacity, can steal my passion, no one can steal it except me. And there's risk and things happen. But Lots of people, and maybe if I say most, I don't say, but really most people just go and sit at the place of their crisis, and that crisis become their life. They're living, and when they talk about the child that died. You can't get them out of it, And it is not that they talk about it as in a victory situation. It's always as an excuse for me being in the situation, But still having 3 children, but they're living with the dead one. They've never handled it. Things happen in life, and there's no way to handle it and sit there and, but maybe this, maybe. You must sort it beforehand, not afterwards. Think beforehand what you think is good and what's bad, not to expose children maybe to certain things and whatever. I can't believe it how many children, in my life I've heard being killed by horses, A few weeks ago there was a child, You can't put a child of, this on a horse that can maybe run away. If the child can handle it, fine. The problem is not the horse, the problem is not the thing. But you must beforehand decide over it, and if you haven't decided over it, you can't sit afterwards. Now, was it the Lord? Was it this? Was it this? There's no answer in that way. You handle it beforehand, and afterwards you deal with it, you get it in the past, and you start to live proactively. Because in then dealing backwards, it's not going to solve the problem. And all of us do have chapters like that where you say, but what if? Forget about it. It's past. Get it over. It's no longer there. So people misunderstand the situation that God has given the earth to us as a kingdom where we are the rulers. They say, but is God there? God is in a certain sense there because He's in His kingdom, but He's also here, but He's here in a certain mode, if you can say it like that. He's not here in an active mode, walking around here, looking there, intervening just everywhere where things can go wrong. No, the earth is under our control. God is here in the first place in the sense that He has created systems on this earth. A system like gravity. If you take something in the air and you leave it, then it will come down at a certain speed wherever in the world you are. It's a system. If you jump from a roof and you fall and you die, and then you say, but God, why haven't you intervened and saved me? They say to you, but listen, I can't intervene because you need to use your mind. Because there's a system that's working. If you use it correctly, it can serve you. If you use it incorrectly, then it can harm you and you can die. God has given us systems that's always the same. Driving around 200 kilometers an hour is dangerous because if it's a car that's more or less a ton, it's got a certain amount of momentum that cannot stop in 10 meters, And if you want to drive like that, you're going to harm yourself and the car because it's pure physics. You can't stop it in 10 meters, and if you want to stop it, you will maybe die. Because you will get into an accident, because the thing in front of you will be too quick in front of you. So there's lots of things that's pure physics around people that we don't use our mind, and we sometimes do the thing wrong. We got hurt, we're very brave and we don't wear jerseys because, and then we get sick and cold, and then, no, it's the devil. Well, sometimes not everything that happens wrongly is the devil. We must understand the world that was given to us. We must understand the laws in this world that was given to us. We must respect those laws. We must use it in our favor. But we must be very careful because those laws can serve us or it can work against us. And you must understand it. And yes, but God can also be here when I'm as a Christian have asked God to live in my life. And then the Bible says that then He gives us an angel to protect you. But it is from my permission, it is from my request that He sort of allow me to have an angel. Because that will protect you and help you. Because every believer do have an angel that's protecting him. We can go on into that. He also gives me certain things. He said that when you respect my word, when you live according to my values, you will have a long life. You will be healthy. You know, I say to myself, why on earth is it that I've been working very long times or very much in old age homes, and I cannot think of any person above 90 that I've met in an old age home that's not a Christian. Because Christians get old. Not all Christians get old, but you know, it's part of the Christian belief that when you live according to God's word and whatever, then old age is part of it, you know. There's other people that also get old, you know, but most people I get to know, it's like that. I don't know. When you look even into countries where people live long, you see they live according to principles that you can find in the Bible, even though they may be not Christians. They live according to principles that serve them. They live quiet, they live focusedly, they live not too busy and whatever. They eat very well, not too much stress and so forth. And all the countries where you find people getting over 100 years, you will find the same lifestyle. Same lifestyle, same principles, same values. Why? Because it's the value in the thing that brings you there. So at the end of the day, we must understand that we've got a world with certain laws. We can serve God. We can live a certain life. We can have God inside of us. We can have an angel that's with us. We can speak things into existence. You know, we can speak protection, lots of things in a way how God can intervene. We can pray and God can intervene. But still at the end of the day, there's still risk on earth. Remember, and it's not negative to say, it's still, the earth is still not redeemed. It's paid, yes, but it's still not redeemed from its fallen state. Things happen wrongly. There's still disasters on earth, and sometimes the thing come over your life or it comes your way, and you must prepare yourself to deal with these things. And you can either drown in it. I mean, I've got 3 cars stolen. Huh? See, 3 cars in my life that was stolen. Well, it's, you know, every time it happened, I said, listen, then, you know, you can either fight it and become aggressive and swear at people or whatever, or say, Lord, maybe there was someone that needed this car more urgently than me, so I now give this car to this person. He's not stolen it. It's now his property. But thank you that you will give me something better. And the Lord always provided something better. So I never thought of my car and I've got this thing, you know, these people, those people, whose people is stealing cars or whatever. Because I deal with it. You deal with it, you get it over. It happens. It happens with believers. But the point is that you don't always know why it happened. But the one thing you know is if you deal correctly with it, it can bring a flower out of that mud crisis. You can have a flower in your life out of the mud crisis. Always make sure that you can handle risk so that there's always a flower wherever risk may appear. That's part of this world. We are not in a world where risk is gone and no longer around us. Okay. You know, risk is actually part of our whole society. You know, every person that have sort of invented something new or whatever had to take even the risk to go into a certain world and try some stuff, you know, and maybe go under risk but find something, you know, do something. So it's not always that risk is wrong and evil. It is just we know risk is here. But we are not delivered up to risk. We can manage risk. We've got enough ways how we can deal with risk. It doesn't safeguard you that you will not have problems. No, you will have problems. The Bible even says that the problems of the righteous are manifold, but God delivers us from all of them. That we can deal with them. We can look back at our own lives and look at even our own failures and even laugh at it and say, you know, that was my school fees, you know. I had to learn it. It was stupid maybe from me. It was this or it was afterloosig. What is that?
Negligent.
Careless or whatever, you know. We're still human. And don't condemn yourself for being human. As a human you can make a fault, not see something, not realize something, and things happen. But to be awake and know that the enemy will try to bring some stuff along your road. He's not in for the best in your life. Things sometimes happen not because of even the enemy, it just happens because life is fragile. But just deal with it and make it the best out of it. Okay. Things happen, you know, as we've said, they steal your car, you can become sick, you can get into an accident, your investment get lost maybe, or your health is not good, or things happen, they steal your ID, lots of things happen. But the point is that we're not here to make a study of the negative in risk, if you can say it like that. We just know these things are possible, and then I need to ask myself, how am I going to deal with this risk factor? Because maybe you can go, and I know people, they buy a policy for everything, your policy for this and this and this and this, you know, but it later becomes so expensive, you don't know if they've got money to live on, you know. Now if you can do it, it's fine. There's not anything wrong with buying a policy, because it's part of the way. And maybe having a life insurance policy and an insurance on your car and whatever. I mean, I'm for that. But the point is, you can go overboard with it. Sometimes you don't have the money for it. Sometimes you know, there was a phase in our lives where we just said, Lord, we don't have enough money for, you know, all the medical stuff to give insurance. But we're not delivered up. We can trust you. We can live the right life. We can pray for sickness, you know, and all these things. And we did it, and it worked. Not in the sense that we're against the other things. It's not against and a right and a wrong or whatever. You need to evaluate your current situation, your availability of what funds or capacities you have, you know, potential you have, and how to use it. And then you need to make a plan in the now. Because you say, I'll wait for one day. That day is not here. That day doesn't exist. You need to make a decision now and say, okay, I'm going to do this now. This is my way, how we're going to deal with this if this happens, and so and so. Sometimes we've decided not to have insurance on our cars, knowing that if you get stolen, it's gone. And we have to deal with it. It's decisions that you make, you know, but beforehand you decide, okay, but if the worst happens, this is what we're going to do. Not going to stuck in a thing and then, yeah, but why not if, whatever, no. You don't get yourself into that situation, because it steals your living in the now, where you're busy living the life that you need to live. People are ignorant of risk because, you know, they don't want to face it. It confronts you sometimes too much, you know. It makes us negative. We live very much in denial. No, it will not happen to me. Nothing will happen to me, you know. It takes effort to deal with all these things. So there's a human other side also to it, that we are not always honest enough with ourselves concerning it. We don't think it through. We just put it, you know, there on the shelf, hoping that it will never happen. You need to think it through for yourself. At the end of the day, we can prevent or lower risk in our lives. We can make provision for risk, and we can handle risk in a way that it is proactive, and it don't get you stuck in the past and don't get you live in the past for years and years and years. But you can make it something. Even sometimes, you know, say I think of a more radical case, you lose one of your legs, you know. I mean, that's the thing that you live every day with. You're very conscious about it, but you can handle it and verwerk it. You
can adapt.
Work through it.
Sorry?
Work through it.
You can work through it in such a way that this losing of a limb becomes a motivational factor in your life, becomes a reminding of goodness of the Lord, because you could have been dead. I mean, maybe you've only lost this, you know. So you can handle and process the crisis. That's the right word. You can process the risk and the crisis that maybe happened in such a way that it becomes a positive factor in your life. You never go to a place where you start to blame shift, and even though you have not done enough or maybe done something wrong or whatever, you never go to the place where you blame and you condemn and you whatever, all these things, because your whole life stops there. There's nothing that is more, what is the word, more unthankful to your Creator than to stop your life. I mean, he understands that things are difficult around here. It's not easy and it's not always nice. But the best thing you can do to uplift his name and to give glory to him is to handle it proactively, go through it, not be in denial about it, you know. Not I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, I can talk about it. I can talk about anything. But you know, but the Lord recreated it into something that is beautiful eventually, and that is what people are loving to see, that you can deal with the negative. Not run away from it, not being ashamed of it, but come to a point where you can use it as a reminder to serve the Lord more and to live that life that what is set out for you more passionately, more committed than ever before. Well, what can we do? Prevention is better than cure. There's lots of things we can do. You know, we must invest more in ourselves. We must get skilled in problem solving, get skilled in relationships, know how relationships work. There is one of our worst things is when relationships get messed up. Skill yourself in how to handle relationship stress, conflict, and all these things. Have constant mentors in your life. I'm just saying quickly some stuff. Build correctly in your life. Make sure this is God's plan for this phase of your life. Do not partake of risky things that's unnecessary. You know, live prosperous, but live a safe life. Stay away from things that kill people, stress, unhealthy diets, all these fast cars and things. You know, all these sometimes excitement. You know, sometimes I even think about all these rugby players. You know, I know. You know, at 50 they can't sort of walk, you know. I mean, somehow you need to ask yourself, you know, if it's your life, you need to deal with it, that you're going to have these problems at a certain age, but your body cannot take a certain amount of, pressure and still stay the same for the next 20, 50 years. It is just one of those things. You must live with fulfillment. You must live with margins in your life. Then things happen, you know, there must always be a margin. I've got extra time, extra energy, extra whatever with which I can handle this crisis. But when you're living on the edge of your page, you know, there's no way you can go when the crisis comes. Margins is very important. Live healthy, get rid of excess fat and all these things. Get yourself driving skills. Be alert, you know, when you're on the road, because it's not always your fault when something happens. You know, you can pray, you can ask the Lord to protect you. Get rid of addictions, unhealthy habits. Stay out of dangerous situations. Get yourself security, general security, and ask the Creator to protect you. Okay, make provision for risk in the sense of you can have an emergency fund. They say that emergencies is about 20% of people's budget when it happens. And it happens constantly. You don't know when the fridge is going to stop. You don't know when the car is going to break down. People stretch things to the limits, you know, and then they can't understand. You must have emergency. It's about 3 to 6 months salary that you have in your bank account, in your bond account. Because people can lose their work, so that you can have a margin where you can go into when something happens in your life. And it is incredible how much emergency people have in their lives. It is really. As I work with people, people have lots of emergencies. Why? Because life is fragile. Your fridge is not going to last forever. I mean, your house will need paint, your house will break, things will start to leak. It is life. It's normal. Don't be whatever about it. Make provision for it. Set something aside for it. Get it into your budget and your mind, you know, that this is normal, that things can happen like this. Short-term insurance, life insurance, house insurance, business. Get a retirement plan. You're going to retire. That's our biggest financial problem, retirement. The average people do not have retirement nowadays. But you're going to retire. They think, I'm going to work till I die. You cannot work till you die. I see it with people. When you go over 50, you do not have the same amount of energy that you have beneath the 50. And nowadays they don't want to give you work, you know. So you need to make a plan. Don't go into this thing, you know. It's not going to happen. Well, maybe if you want to die at 50, then it's fine. Then you don't need a retirement plan. Then you work till 50 and you go. But if you want to live till 70 or 80, you need to make some plan. The problem is not that it doesn't exist, but we live in denial that there will be a risk that I will not have enough money. Don't go into whatever stress about it. The point is just be honest and just do something about it. But most people never sit and decide what they're going to do something about it because they think it's so impossible, and it isn't so impossible. Have good relationships in your life. I close down with this, you know, just maybe good things to know about handling risk. Handle what goes wrong. Handle it quickly. Get back to the normal life. Get back to the now life. Don't put up tents in the past and dwell in the past, and it's not working. Circumstances will either make you better or bitter. And make sure that you get better out of it, because circumstances will be there. But you have the decision that it can make you better or bitter. Do not overanalyze things. Maybe sometimes, you know, even after a year you will get some answers, but sometimes you do not have answers. Don't sit in condemnation and what about things. Stay positive, stay thankful, never go into blame shifting, as we said, because it will consume your energy. Most people, 80% of their energy are spent in the past. You know, they sit and think about the past and the past and the past, and they spend all their energy that they need for the now, they spend in the past. They know definitely what they want to live, they even know their dream, but they can't live it because there's no energy left. They live it in the past, they spend it in the past. With all that stuff that's wrong and unsorted out, draw a line, learn to draw lines, and to say, this is now over. I'm never going back there. I'm not even allowing my mind to go back there. Why? Because it's not proactive. It's not going to change anything. I give it to the Lord. I put it in His hands and I just cancel it in my world. And say, Lord, if there's nothing I can more do about it. So I take it out of my world. I put it into your world. If you find a way that something can change and I can help, you know, tell me, I'll do it. But I'm not going to any longer accommodate it as part of my life, because it's draining me. It's eating up my energy to live successful in the now. Learn to forgive quickly. Learn to forgive before things happen. I mean, make a decision in your life that you will never hold any person responsible. And whatever will happen, even though whoever's fault it is, I'll make a decision that, because I cannot live with that thing. It's not that, you know, it's a good thing to forgive other people. No, it's a good thing for you to forgive other people. Because you cannot live with that virus in your heart. You become like that virus. You later on live like that virus. You need to get that virus out, and the only way to get it out is to forgive people. To say, listen, I mean, we can sit here and again go into the tree of good and evil, you know. Whose fault is it? His or mine? His or mine, you know. But listen, if it's not good for relationship, cut, draw the line, go on. Live the life, because there's many things that you still can do and that's purposeful and you can do for other people. Never give up. Never give up on yourself, especially. Because as long as you've got breath in your mouth, you know, the Lord has got He's very persuaded that you've got something still to live on it. So if He still awakes you in the morning, well, then you've got His mandate to live it. So live it. And never give up upon yourself, although it can get very, very difficult, I know. Never isolate yourself from other people. You know, yeah, but people hurt and people this, you know. There's risk in meeting a person. There's risk in wake up in the morning. Do you know how many people die from falling off a bed? It's crazy. I mean, to go and sleep is a risk, you know, because you can fall off the bed and you can die. You know, our whole life is full of risk. I don't know if there's insurance for that, but but you can get insurance against aliens, right? Aliens attack you. There's really insurance for that. But the point is, where Don't isolate yourself. It is an absolute risk to reach out to other people. Because people can be unpredictable, they can be nasty, they can be whatever. But it is God's way for you to be connected to people. Get yourself to a place where you know whatever manifests here, I will be able to handle it. Maybe this person will swear at me. Maybe this person will think I am the new hero of 2019. Whatever. Make sure that you are in a situation where you can handle everything that comes to you. So that you don't respond out of, that there's a risk, What if she? What if? No, get that if out of your life. If you know you need to connect with a person, connect with the person. And know that when you connect with people, you will find needs there. You will find people that's got undeveloped areas. You will find people that's got crises. You will not always find a beautiful scene. They are beautiful. Yes, of course, all people are beautiful people. But their lives are not beautiful. And the moment you connect, you come into a situation that draws upon you. Make sure that you can handle that drawing power, that you know where is your margins. People don't get dependent upon you and all these type of things. And it is very nice to find that place where you no longer live life with this, what am I going to expect when, no, let me just cut it, let me just go home and then sit on my own or whatever. It's very nice to find a place where you can reach out to any person, wherever, and you don't think about it, is this a Christian or not a Christian or an atheist or whatever. I don't worry, because why? All people are beautiful. Just connect with them. Yes, maybe what will come back to you can be a surprise, but so what? I can handle it. Because I brought myself to a place where I can handle anything from swearing to admiration or whatever. And I just know in my heart that people are at different places. And I understand when people sometimes maybe even swear at me. Because I know why they're doing it. They're confused. They don't know their identity. And it is, even though in those situations I know they need me even more than for me running away, and swearing back at them and whatever. To come back with the right word to help them to find themselves, to find their identity. To speak a word that's really of compassion or validation or whatever. Because they never had it in their lives. Okay, make sure that you are at that point, and then risk is absolutely minimized in your relationships. Learn to draw a line. Learn to walk away. Learn to not, we always had like balls and you throw it at people. And your instinct is to catch a ball when it comes to you. But you need to beforehand tell yourself, listen, I'm going to visit this person. And most probably there will be need, and this person will ask me this and this and this. And I must be ready to know where I'm going to get involved and where I'm going not to get involved. Not because of anything that's, spooky or whatever. Because I know what is my place in your life. And I know where I don't go in your life. If you can say it like that. But you need to decide it beforehand. You don't feel guilty. You don't go on an emotional trip. Because I am not your provision in life, in nothing. Only the Lord is our provision. And yes, temporarily the Lord can provide through people for each other, that's true. But we must know that you are not everyone's provision. Know where you need to get involved and where you don't need to get involved. Okay, always remember that after this there will be a new day. A day that you can make a better day, because you are the author of your future. And you can handle risk in such a way that if it's good or if it's bad or whatever, it can always be profitable and good for you. Because He that's in you and you yourself is bigger than what is going on in the world. And you've got a decision. You are actually the king. You can stand up in your identity. You can reposition yourself concerning things. You can either feel I'm under the circumstances, or you can say I am not under circumstances. I am sitting in heavenly places. I'm always above circumstances. My feelings doesn't feel like that, but that is the truth. I am above circumstances. And it's trying to terrorize me, but I will speak to my circumstances and I will tell them that they need to respond to me and what I'm saying, because I am the king on this earth. And what's ever happening on earth, I have the mandate myself. I have the authority, I have the provision and everything to change it. Therefore, change it to whatever you want it to be. Because at the end of the day, we always say it, and that is true. Whatever the life you want to live on earth, whatever the success you want to live, you need to produce it. You need to create it. In the sense that you need to release it from your inside to the outside. It is not going to happen just by accident. Just we'll be here and then it will manifest. No, it will not manifest. You will make it what you want it to be. I see it like this house. We came here last year December, and I'm still busy making this house what I want it to be. And my planning is going now into middle December. It's going to be a year. And it's like a feeling it's coming on me now. I can already feel it coming to the middle of December, and I look at the place and say, now I can rest, because this place is now as I want it to be. Service everything, make sure everything is right and whatever, everything is in its place, put plants where you want the plants and whatever as you want it to be, because you create it. It's not like, you don't even ask the Lord. The Lord said, listen to your heart, what will look good for you, because you're going to look at it. It's your house. I look at certain windows and I say, but I want plants here, there, whatever, as you want it to be. What a privilege to have the opportunity to create a life around you as you want it to be. And it honors the Lord. It gives Him pleasure to see you doing it that way. Why? Because it's our world. It's given to us. It's given to us. He loves it when you bring order in that world. I love it to invite people. We're going for December to invite people here, and it's not for bragging. If it's here or my other house, we're doing the same. To just bring people in and to show them this is our world. Why? Because this is our world. You don't need to live here, you don't need to take it, but to expose people and to bring them into a field where they can feel really blessed themselves. Because that's what your life is supposed to be. It's supposed to be an atmosphere where people, when they enter into it, they see beauty, they see excellence, they see a plan, they see some stuff happening, they see passion, they see commitment, they see all these things. And it stirs them that they say, listen, I can also live a certain type of life, the life that is in me. Thank you very much.